She's Dana.
This is Tubbs.
And we're Country Girls getting down on reality TV. Now, I got to ask you a question.
All right, let's hear it.
Right off the bat. Now, what I want to know is, do you think that after that big elaborate Kardashian wedding and then the very small cheap marriage, did Kim lose her fan base, do you think?
I think she did, and here's why. Because that showed her true colors. That's what I think.
Yes.
I think that 72 days in marriage, she's selfish, and I think that that's probably summed it up for her.
I think you're right. And even though she got the People's Choice Award, she did get the People's Choice Award for the best reality actress, I think, something like that.
Right.
Still, though, and I wasn't even going to watch this show after the big wedding because that turned me off. But when I found out that Kim and Kris Jenner edited the Kim and Kourtney Takes New York show to make Chris Humphries look bad, I had to watch. And I want to see what they cut out because they couldn't make themselves look more bad.
Well, that's what he was talking about. He said, he tweeted and he said he could not wait for the truth to come out. So I'm kind of anxious to see that too.
Okay, now, first of all, marriage is a big adjustment. It's a commitment. And you have to give and take. And first of all, I don't even think you can call it a 72-day marriage. Because they weren't even together.
Yeah,
and she did.
Yeah.
Okay, she did. And when you marry, you're supposed to become one with your spouse. And she was family. That's all she talked about. Well, she's 30 years old. Come on, give me a break. Time she can go off with her husband. But it was all her. There was no give and take. So, like you said, I think she's selfish, she's rude, and she's disrespectful.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And I think that she learned well from her mother.
And in the next part, the next episodes that's going to come out, I think we'll see a whole lot more with Kris because you can tell.
Kris Jenner?
Yes, you can tell with her. It's going to be bad. You just wait and see.
But okay, now what I want to see though, I am kind of rooting for Kris Humphries and all this because Kris Humphries, I mean, come on, who's going to walk into the Kardashian family? Look at all the other men. Bruce, come on, Bruce. Bruce needs a backbone. And I think with Kendall and Kylie coming up, he will. I think the Kendall Sweet 16 birthday, I think he'll have a little bit more of an input because he is the other girl's stepfather. And the other two, they're Jenners. They're not really Kardashians. But then look at Rob. I mean, he lived with one sister a while, other sister couldn't get along with one, but he went to Dancing with the Stars. And I think that if you asked me, who's your favorite Kardashian? Rob.
Mine too.
And I hope Rob gets out there and strikes out on his own.
Rob seems very down to earth to me. I like Rob.
I think you're right. And the other, which I was going to talk about Scott first, but Lamar, Lamar's down to earth, I think. And you don't see a lot of Lamar. And when you do, it's kind of lighthearted, it's fun. It's nothing like with the other Kardashians.
He's not a drama. Scott's into the drama.
Yes.
He loves all the drama
that
goes on in the family. Lamar, he don't care that much for it.
And I think that Lamar and Chloe are a good couple and they really love each other. But I think from the get-go, Lamar didn't want to put himself into any situation that would come across like Scott or kind of like what Kris Humphries has had to deal with. But I think they kept showing that on the show because, Kris Humphries would say, well, it's my sweet too, I can do this and do that. And they kept showing more of that to make him look bad, I think.
Right, yeah.
And then Scott went along and it was kind of like Humphries was an instigator. But Scott's a big boy. Scott should have done, what he wanted to do, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Toronto with him, and they had the big party in the suite. But, so I think Kris Humphries is kind of going into the marriage to put his guard up. And that's why, he can't go over that line, or he'll be sucked into that Kardashian clan.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be brainwashed forever.
Yep. Scott's almost brainwashed, but he came out.
Well, Scott is like that. What is that in the fish tank? They go around and suck the scum off the...
Algae sucker.
He is a sponge, okay? he clearly is happy like he is, or he would do something about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of leads me to where does he have his money? How do you go window shopping and buy a 1.2 million grand piano? No, so where does Scott, where's he getting his money? I'd like to know.
I read or heard something that his daddy was a dentist.
A dentist?
A dentist, like a...
With a
oral
rich
surgeon.
clientele?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they claim his daddy gives him his money. I don't hardly believe that after
1.2 million for a
his mom and
grand
daddy's house. You know, the house, they didn't look like that was no 1 point. I mean, it was a nice house, but
Yes,
it wasn't no
and that takes us
$1
to-
million house.
Yes. And then Kourtney goes in and, you know.
Who throws away their mother-in-law's possession?
Who goes in their mother-in-law's house and starts rearranging? I think I'm onto something with Kourtney. And Kourtney is clearly crying out for help. But I think she's kind of getting a reality show. I think she realizes that theirs is not a true reality show, it's a fantasy show.
Oh, yeah.
So she's getting into couponing and hoarding, which her mother-in-law's house was not cluttered by any means.
No.
But I think she's kind of getting that hoarding show and then some of these health shows and some of these things. So she's clearly crying out for something. I'm just not sure what.
Yeah. I wouldn't want anybody coming in my house. That's happened to me before, as a matter of fact. A friend of mine coming to my house.
No.
Going to clean for me. I said,
No.
hey, I need you to go clean my house.
That's not their business.
And they went in and they started throwing away my stuff.
No.
Like, for instance, I had some Alabama pom-poms that I'd gathered at all these Alabama football games. Love Alabama. Roll Tide. And this friend of mine threw my Alabama pom-poms away.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, really? Yeah. I mean, it's a bad feeling. And I can honestly understand how that lady felt.
Well, with Scott's chess set, the chess set that Scott learned to play chess on.
Yeah.
And what got me, though, to go into somebody else's home, and she took it out and had a pile. But she acted like it was nothing.
Yeah, like it was junk.
I done you a favor.
Yeah.
You know? Well, she didn't ask her to do her that favor.
Right.
And that just is, maybe that's their mindset, but you just don't do things like that.
No.
You just don't do things like that.